Sports Showcase event on Hartford TV. I am Ray Ruse, and I am joined with my broadcast partner, Chris Dale. We're at Bel Air High School for a men's lacrosse game with host Bel Air Bobcats versus the visiting Milton Wright Mustangs. Bel Air is coached by Doug Testerman, and this is his 7th season, and their current record is 0-2, but the Bel Air team is coming in at, well, I'm saying they were 5-9 last season, but I think they're 1-0 this year?
1-0 so far this year.
So this is off to a good start here. I have down here, Chris, that his assistant coaches are Nick Hart, Connor Beal, and Mike McMullen. And I'm assuming they're longtime lacrosse people. For Milton Wright, we have Andy LeBrun, and it's only his first year coaching high school. Last year they were 8-5, 5-1 in the league, and this year they're off to an 0-2 start. But I think that they'll right the ship here a little bit. So what do you think about this matchup?
2 very close losses so far of the year for Milton Wright. A great opening night where they went into triple overtime with a ranked Westminster team, and then a tough 1-goal loss to Manchester Valley last night.
Wow.
But 0-2, but those games could have went either way.
Well, the nice thing about high school sports now is it's open playoff format. So you can be 2-20 or 20-2, and you're still making the playoffs.
Right.
So the better coaches are trying to have a challenging schedule. They're trying to get better as the season goes. So let's watch the introductions here first, Chris.
Attackman number 3, Tyler Morris. Attackman number 10, Cody Maddox. Number 11 in midfield, Hudson Wells. Number 15, long stick midi, Dylan Sander. Number 23, on attack is Zach Brown. Number 29, midfielder, Matthew Peters. Defenseman, number 31, Brandon Stepp. Defenseman, number 32, Ethan Fox. And in goal, number 7, Zach Curry. The Mustangs are coached by Penny Reed, Doc Lamb, Austin White. Their head coach is Andy Brun.
Here comes some noise, folks. Bel Air, we're going to get louder here.
And now let's hear it for your very own Bel Air Bobcats. Attackman number 1, Devin Treason. Attackman number 2, Dylan Foudy. Midfielder number 4, Nick Sorrells. And midfield number 6, Eli Hodgson. At midfield number 8, Manny Lucas. Attackman number 16, Grant Smith. Defenseman number 17, Owen Conway. Defenseman number 21, Zach Kropkowski. Defenseman number 23, Benjamin Vaughn. And in goal, number 27, Will Entner. Bobcats are coached by Nick Hart, Connor Beal, and Mike Mullen. Head coach Doug Testerman. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise, face the flag in the corner of our field for the playing of the national anthem.
So again, folks, welcome to this matchup. Tell you a little bit more about my color commentator for the night, Chris Dale. Chris was a 4-year varsity player at Bel Air High School, an All-American high schooler. Played 4 years at Maryland, was also an All-American. Here's what I think is kind of funny, Chris. You are the same epitome of the Kathy Bendis when she did swimming with me. She coached the Milton Wright, but she swam for Falston, so she was like mixed emotions. So you coached the Milton Wright for 7 years, but you played for Bel Air High School.
Yes, this is a real treat to do this game because I probably have been at this game for the last 30 years. I grew up coming to these games, had the opportunity to play here at Bel Air, and then when we moved a little bit over the border, my kids all played for Milton Wright.
Yes.
So I spent the last 7 years there and really enjoyed it. Only stopped this year because I have a younger one at another school and I need to get to his games.
So, all-important face-off that just happened here. I've seen a lot of lacrosse games, but not as many as you. Neither player had the ball, and they're kind of looking around like, where is it? And then the third player came in and scooped it up.
Yeah, a little chaos to start off the game. I think the face-off battle will be key for both teams tonight. Milton Wright is without their standard face-off guy. Unfortunately, had a little knee surgery earlier in the week. Brody Zambano did a great job for them last year, and they've struggled at the X so far this year. So that could be a real key to tonight's matchup.
Yeah, you were discussing with me that beforehand. You know, obviously teams could lose more of the face-offs than they win and still win the game, but you definitely don't want to be dominated in the face-off game.
It's exactly right, and it's such a specialized part of the game now. You do see games where, well, we have our first goal of the night.
That was number 1.
Devin Trezak from Bel Air.
Goal by number 1, Devin Trezak.
Well, that was pretty quick there.
Right.
First minute of the game.
Great start for the Bobcats. We just watched the JV game, and there was one total goal in the first half.
So you know these players better than I do. Was he a natural lefty, or that you have to shoot the left-handed shot coming in at that angle?
He's a right-handed player. Put that in his left. That's a really nice shot right over the goalie's shoulder. So perfect placement to start the game. Yeah, back to the face-off X. I think that's who Bel Air or Milton Wright will come up with the first two, even though they're down 1-0. Again, as long as you battle at the X and can go somewhere in the 60-40 or 50-50 range, it doesn't have a great impact on the game.
So was there a violation on that face-off, and that's why they just gave it to the Milton Wright player?
I believe so, and it's usually that they jumped early. So.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of I look at the face-offs and the ground ball game in lacrosse, Chris, similar to rebounds in basketball.
Very much. It's how you control possession of the game. Just like almost like football too. I mean, as a coach, you want to dominate possession of the ball.
Right.
Typically, the team that possesses the ball more is going to have more opportunities and wind up on the right side of the numbers.
So now, as an outstanding player yourself, what do you think is the most difficult skill to learn, to master? Is it shooting and passing, or is it catching?
Yeah, it's the stick work overall. I mean, which would involve, as you grow up, it's catching and throwing and really doing it with both hands. That's where you'll really see a separation in the level of players. If you can do it with both hands, you really get some great opportunities within the game. As you get a little older, it becomes that shooting aspect. And there's a great shot to tie it up by Hudson Welsh, I believe. Looks like we're off to a...
That was a powerful shot.
Yeah, it looks like we're off to a high-scoring start to begin the game.
So I'm going to give a little bit of credit to lacrosse players that I think they deserve more of. I've heard of people, often people think of football players and different skill position. Football players are great athletes, but I've heard a lot of people refer to the athleticism it takes to play soccer, basketball, and lacrosse. You usually have a different kind of athlete. They're usually not 6'8", 250 pounds. They're usually strength and speed per pound is amazing, because obviously you have to run in this game, and you can't be. I mean, we've talked about in other sports, speed kills, and I would think speed is a huge factor in boys and girls lacrosse.
Very much. Same at the lacrosse level. I mean, you really are looking for fast and tough athletes to get up and down the field. Lacrosse is a physical game, so you have to be a solid athlete. and have a component of strength to be competitive at the high school level. But, you know, as a coach, probably the top two things you look for are speed and strength.
I almost put that one in there. So explain to the fans watching that aren't as knowledgeable about lacrosse how the possession works in terms of taking the shot and on offense retaining possession when the ball goes out of bounds in the back.
Yeah, so it's the closest player to the ball when it goes out of bounds. So you have to be alert all time. You know, if a teammate takes a shot, it's usually that attackman that's behind the cage. It's your job to get closest to the ball when it crosses the line.
So is it your body or the stick extended?
It's the body.
Okay.
It's the body.
Because I one of my favorite things to watch in lacrosse is the people diving at the back of the end zone.
Yep.
Hey, that's important. It's a little part of the game that keeps you possession of the ball. I think we have a foul there. Changing possession. Now also, Chris, there's a rule that says you can only have a certain amount of players on each side of the ball. I mean, of midfield.
Right. So on the offensive end, you'll have 6 offensive players.
Right.
And then on the defensive end, you'll have 6 players plus the goalie.
Okay.
So we have offsides in lacrosse, meaning that those two, you have to stay on that side of the ball.
So there's a real timing mechanism. So every once in a while, you'll see a defender steal a ball, and if their momentum is taking them towards the other side, instead of passing it, it's kind of like a lot of other sports where you can get a breakaway in soccer, or if you get an interception in football at the right time, and more of the people are behind you. So if a defender steals the ball and they're like, why am I going to slow pass this out? I'm taking off.
Absolutely.
Then another player has to jump over midfield.
Right. So with the stick work that these kids have today, you see many more opportunities where you see the long pole bringing the ball down in the offensive zone. But on the back end of that, somebody does have to stay back to account for that. The ref would be offsides once a 7th player crosses into the offensive zone.
Now, how many referee system is normal in lacrosse?
For the regular season, it's 2.
Okay.
Only in the state playoffs, we'll jump to a 3-man crew.
Well, and I've said it before, I have high respect for referees in any sport, but to keep all this action under control with 2 referees, and I think you've said you've reffed, that's a tough chore.
I do. I've been reffing for the last couple of years at the youth level, and even after playing for my entire life, it's a challenge, and it's a challenge to learn.
Little miss pass there.
So that is over and back. Bel Air turned the ball over, just like in basketball where you have backcourt. That ball has gone over the line, so possession will go over to C. Milton Wright. Yeah, back to the referees. I mean, we're very fortunate in the area. Maryland is the lacrosse hotbed, so we have an awful lot of high-caliber referees in the area. So just like we are tonight, it's hard to see exactly who's on the field, but we'll typically have referees doing our high school games who may have done a Maryland or a Hopkins game on Saturday.
That's so interesting. I used to work with a physical education teacher, and you're exactly right. One minute he's doing a high school game, and the next minute he's going down to North Carolina and he's doing a weekend of college.
Right.
You don't see that in most sports.
No.
In most sports, you have to earn your stripes to get to the next level, and then you stay at that level. So goalkeeping, unheralded job in any sport, but man, these kids, the reaction time that they have to have with all the moves that these attack and midfielders have these days. Have you ever even stepped in a goal in all your years of playing, Chris?
I did it once in a summer league game, and I vowed never to do it again. I did grow up in a family of goalies, actually. My dad was a goalie at the University of Maryland. My brother was a goalie here at Bel Air High School, which was great for me because I could just shoot on them growing up. But it takes an awful lot of quickness and skill and a lot of bravery.
Yes.
Again, with the advancements in stick technology, I mean, many of these players tonight can shoot the ball in excess of 90 miles an hour.
Wow. Now, see, that was a well set up play there, but the pass was a little bit low at the ground. I feel like if he would have gotten that ball to his teammate, that would have been a catch and turn and shoot right there.
Yeah, very close. I mean, so far I see real good team play so far for both teams, taking the time to set up a good offense.
Well, people don't understand, like football, lacrosse is a game of turnovers. So, the little errors that you make, taking your eye off the ball at the last second when you're running, thinking you have it, but you just took your eye off it like a receiver catching the ball. The ball, at the teammate's shins instead of at their chest, you're putting your teammate in a tough position to catch that ball. especially in boys lacrosse when somebody might be coming in to hit you. That seemed like good team defense there, Chris. I like that.
Very much. Nice slide by the Mustangs. Here's the ever important ground ball. Again, coming up with the ground ball for C. Milton Wright.
So as fans noticed, the player didn't think they were going to be able to possess that, so they just kind of shoveled it into the goalie circle, knowing that the only player that can touch that ball there was the goalie. So in other sports, Chris, we have a certain thing. A basketball coach says, go out and dribble the ball forever with your left hand and your right hand. In lacrosse, find a wall, a brick wall preferably, and go out and throw and catch if you can't get a friend or a family member, and repetitive throwing and catching with both hands. I think that might have went off the top of the crossbar, but I'm not sure.
I think the goalie got a piece and then it hit the crossbar.
Yeah.
So
good save.
Yeah, again, good goaltending play to start out the game as well.
So for Bel Air, our goalie is number 27, and that is William Enter. So that was a very good stop. So I don't know if it's as dramatic in lacrosse as it is in ice hockey, but you hear people say the sports that one player can dominate a game the most. Ice hockey goalie, starting pitcher in baseball. Is it relative to a goalie in lacrosse too?
Yeah, I would say in lacrosse right now that the goalie and a face-off guy. If you do have that dominant face-off game, we talked earlier, nowadays you see times if you can win 80% of the face-offs, it's really hard to beat because your team just will not have the opportunities offensively.
So that was a good chance right there for Bel Air. They had a quick outlet pass to Dylan Foudy, and
now we've got a flag down.
Two players really cut him off because it looked like he had a clear run to the goal, but somebody got over very quickly. Simone Wright definitely seems to get that second and third player in there very quickly on defense.
Yeah, they have a very experienced defense. In fact, several returning starters from last year. All of the polls that you've seen in the game for them so far, have at least started for 1 year.
Wow.
Got two players. You have Hayden Gazinski and Brandon Stepp, who are as juniors, are in their third year of starting. So very, very experienced and have played together for a while. So you can see that they know when to slide and have a real good understanding of when a teammate needs help.
All three of their starting defenders, 3-year players, and then on their midfield, Hudson Welsh, 4th year, and then 3rd year for Cody Maddox, and then even like you said, Brody Zambano is out, but this would have been his 3rd year, and also another senior, Bryce Lawrence, who's in his 4th year.
Yeah, Bryce Lawrence just coming back from injury tonight, so good to see him back on the field. He had a very serious hand surgery in the offseason. He has played and logged serious minutes since his freshman year. And he's been on the field the entire time. He's actually headed to Slippery Rock University on an ROT scholarship next year, so he's definitely has the all-around game going.
So let me ask you a question from your coaching standpoint. Different coaches coach different ways. I only played 1 year of high school lacrosse before I got injured, and we just so happened, like I've heard some people say, some coaches on boys lacrosse will play their 1st, 2nd, and 3rd midfield or attack or whatever. But it just so happened, my luck is I made the 2nd midfield, and our 1st midfield had 3 guys that were like all county.
Right.
So even though it's a running position, some people told me the playing time would generally be 50% first line, 30% or more for second line, and maybe 15% for third line. Is that normal ratio? Or?
Yeah, I think at this level, my expectations, we'll see two lines from each team tonight, and it's impossible for one line to play the entire game.
Right.
So depending on the depth, sometimes the coach is trying to make 2 even lines. I know in my tenure at C. Milton Wright, we would go back and forth whether we wanted to have 2 even lines or a dominant line. We would always have that dominant line to play in the 4th quarter if the game was close. But the reality is, if you're a midfielder and you play too much in the first half, it's going to catch up to you by the end of the game.
Well, especially once we get towards late April and into May, when you start to have the heat come in. I mean, you got to have that as a factor on subbing also.
Absolutely, and you'll see more kids play as the season goes on. Tonight we got a nice cool night, so I would expect most teams will just play 3 or 4 attackmen and run those two midfield lines.
So I've always been a proponent of subbing, and my philosophy, I was talking to one of the gentlemen, Joe Holhouse, who did basketball commentating with me, and we were a little bit surprised to see a couple teams only going a couple deep on their bench, even in blowouts. But what we don't know, we're commentating. You know more about these teams than I do, but we don't know the team's depth. We don't know who's ready, who's not.
Right.
So even if your philosophy is to sub more, if you don't go beyond 15, 16 deep against a local rival in a big game like this.
Right. Now you have, and both these teams will have schedules where they'll play games where they probably do that, but generally you'll have games where you get an opportunity. I mean, I know that we made a point in my tenure to, if we were going to win the game, especially by more than a goal or so, we would try and get everybody in.
Right.
Another great save by the Bel Air keeper. We had a one-on-one for Mustang attackman Cody Maddox, but a great save by the keeper for Bel Air.
So what do you do as a shooter, Chris? What does the goalie's body position and where they're holding the stick make you think about whether you're going to shoot low, high, left, right?
The goalie's trying to read the attacker's stick. So the reality is, when you get in like that, you want to make a move, a head fake or a shoulder fake to get him to move, and then shoot the opposite.
Okay.
It is 6x6 doesn't look that big, but there's plenty of room. Both these goalies are good size, so they take up a good part of the cage.
So, Chris, you're obviously an outstanding player and coach. I scored 2 goals in my brief amount of high school lacrosse, and I think I scored the ugliest goal in the history of lacrosse. I'd seen one of my better teammates do the bounce shot low. It hit a bad clod in the grass, took a weirdest hop ever over the goalie's shoulder and landed 1 inch behind the goal line.
Right.
And my friends were trying to high-five me, and I was like, no, don't high-five me on that. If there was a not top 10 on ESPN at that point, I would have been on it.
Right. Well, I would tell you, the old school bounce shot is the highest percentage shot in the game.
Is it really?
However, a lot of the players today are, with the advancement in stick technology, even high school level players are shooting the balls, in excess of 90 miles an hour. So I guess the wow play is certainly, to shoot it high at 90 miles an hour.
But you definitely see some really good spring ESPN top moments with these players, the ability to dive around the circle, throw in a low shot. You see some behind the head shots.
Sure.
I think one of the coolest ones I showed recently is a guy faked. Oh, it was actually a young lady in college. She faked a behind the head shot. The goalie bit for it, and then they just put it in the near post real easy.
Right. Again, the stick work of players today is just, it gets better year by year. And the technology, like I said, is advancing.
Right.
The stick level, way different than the sticks you and I would have played with.
So how much better is the equipment today than it was when you played?
Well, the reality is you watch. We still have a very physical game out there. But it's, there are injuries in the sport, and it's a concern. But, you'll see an awful lot of hard stick checking and even body checking. And most of the time the players walk away with no problem due to the level of equipment they're wearing.
Now, I could be ignorant with this comment, but I still feel like the...
Another big save.
Yes.
Goaltending so far.
That was Zachary Curry.
Right, who's a first-year starter for C. Milton Wright.
He's only a 10th grader.
Yes. He's got a couple years of starting in front of him, so he's got a bright future. That was a real nice save.
I just feel like the game used to be more physical than it is now.
Yeah.
Is that a result of more athletic, faster players? So you can't really get the full body hits on people as easily?
A little bit, but I would tell you it's by design that a lot of the big hits have left the game due to the number of head injuries and the number of injuries in the sport. One of the U.S. Lacrosse initiatives to grow the sport really was to make it safer.
Yeah.
And it's working. I know, a lot of old schoolers want to see the big hit, and that it still is allowed within the confines of the game, but the rules are a bit different, and it is called much tighter.
Yeah.
Much tighter today than it was just a few years ago.
Yeah, I got laid into the bench by 3 players, and the ref looked at it like, well, that's the game, So right now we have a very low-scoring game, a lot like the JV game we saw before this. It's only 1-1 at the end of the first quarter with a goal from Hudson Welsh for C. Milton Wright and a goal from Devin Tresiak from Bel Air. So what are your thoughts about this period already? Is it what you thought about the game being more even in previous years?
Yes. So, we started out with 2 goals in the first couple minutes, but then I think goaltending really dominated after that. These two schools are 5 miles apart. So these kids grew up playing against each other.
And with each other.
Yeah, they know each other. Many of them probably, play on the same club teams. So this is the definition of a rivalry game. So
oh my gosh!
Even in years when when one team might be better than the other, you often see good contests in here. I think if we look in the record books, I think C. Milton Wright. What do we say? C. Milton Wright has taken the last 5 regular games. They were upset by Bel Air in the playoffs 4 years ago. But if you predate that, I want to say Bel Air won 15 or 20 in a row.
Right.
So I think we're back at a point, and here we are at the end of the first quarter. This rivalry is very much alive and up for grabs tonight.
So, to your point, it doesn't matter the sport. If these two schools play each other, fans show up. I think if the weather was a little bit nicer, we'd have an even better crowd. But I had my rivalry growing up. It kind of reminds me of the Ravens Steelers. One of them could be 10-0 and one could be 0-10, and it's going to be a 3-point game.
Right.
And you just get up for your rival, and it's strange for you being an alumnus from Bel Air and a coach from C. Milton Wright, but some of these parents that are sitting in the stands have the same thing. They've coached in the youth program.
Sure.
They're cheering for their child, but there's 4 kids on the opposing team that they coached for the last 10 years.
Right. And it's great to see. It does really make it special to play lacrosse in Harford County. A little added emphasis to the rivalry tonight because this is the first, league game for both. So somebody's going to be 1-0 and somebody's going to be 0-1 in league play at the end of the night. So
I know it changes sometime from sport to sport. Does lacrosse have a state championship for 1A and 2A and 3A and 4A?
Yes.
Okay, because I think for the girls, they might not have enough teams for single classifications, and there are sports in the state where it's 1A, 2A, 2A, 3A, and 3A, 4A.
And that'll change from year to year based on enrollment in lacrosse as well. Over the last couple of years, these two teams have played in the state playoff game because both were competing in the 3A North region. C. Milton Wright last year moved into 2A for the first time. So we didn't have that matchup in the playoffs, but they'll.
So was, through the years, if I'm not mistaken, hasn't Hereford been a rival to these two teams to getting out of the regionals?
Yes, multiple state championships for the Hereford Bulls over the last couple of years, and during my tenure at C. Milton Wright, our season ended with the Hereford Bulls several times.
That definitely happens, and sometimes it's the luck of the draw of do you move up a class this year or down a class, and the timing of your talent. But Harford County definitely shows well in all sports.
Very much.
Even if you look at our 1A, 2A schools, Patterson Mill, Falston, and so on, depending on the sport, really represent well. I think Patterson Mill's won multiple boys state championships.
They've won recently. Falston has won one recently in 1A, and I would tell you Falston's probably the favorite in 1A to win one this year. Back down the field, we had another flag down, so C. Milton Wright's on the extra man offense.
So what do you do on the defense here, Chris, if you're a man down? Is it more of a zone now?
They're playing a 5-man zone, trying to defend the middle basically and give up the outside shot.
So to me, footwork is the key in defense in any sport. You got to be able to slide quickly. Now, how long is the penalty for, Chris? Generally.
So we have most penalties in lacrosse are either 30 seconds for a technical foul or a minute for a personal foul.
Okay.
I believe we had a personal foul here, so we've got the full minute. What C. Milton Wright will try and do is get that defense moving and find an open shot like they did there.
Let's see who we got in that shot there. That was a really good shot from that angle and that distance.
Yeah, good extra man offense, very, very patient.
So we got C. Milton Wright taking a 2-1 lead here. Here comes the replay. Out here on the side here, looks like still missed the number there, but
I think it's Bryce Lawrence on the goal.
Now, Bryce Lawrence would be a substitute. I don't have him as a starter.
So he's returning from injury tonight. Then he had a hand surgery, so it's great to see him back out on the field.
Do you think he's a natural lefty?
He is a natural lefty.
Okay.
And again, not only one of the better players on the field, you know, one of the leaders for C. Milton, right? So it's really, you know, good for them to get him back on the field.
Well, I was a little surprised to see a pretty good amount of sprinkling of freshmen and sophomore in the C. Milton Wright roster. I don't know how common this is in a physical sport, but they have 3 freshmen on the bench, and they have like a half a dozen sophomores as well.
Right, and that's I think one of the reasons, you know, C. Milton Wright's got a very experienced team. If you go back, again, 3 years ago, they were up-back champions and, you know, Harford County champions, where a lot of this junior class, you've got 3, 4, 5 kids that played serious roles as freshmen.
Yes.
On a championship team.
There's a good stick check there to regain the, set up a ground ball situation with C. Milton Wright 1. Got a good chance here.
Oh, great look. Great
Almost.
look. They had him right on the doorstep, but couldn't handle it.
Now, I would think.
Yeah, we'll get a loose ball push there. Turn the ball back over to Zach Brown and C. Milton Wright.
So that's an example of not a foul that's going to cause a man down situation, just change of possession.
Yeah, if the ball's loose, it's generally a change of possession. Now,
Okay.
if the ball had been in the stick when that happened, that would be a time-serving penalty.
Now, as a coach, you'd probably really rather not see your player do that, because the player was almost going to the ground on their own, and they would have been in an awkward position to get up.
Yeah, and they were pinned against the sideline, so fortunate for C. Milton Wright that they got the ball back based on that.
But does a good attackman know how to draw that foul?
Very much, very much.
Just slow up at the last second.
Yep.
Here we got a good chance coming in here.
Really very nice offense from the Mustangs.
So I think that was number 3 getting that goal for the Mustangs. Let me see here.
Let me get my name straight. That's definitely one of the
should be
Morris
Tyler
brothers.
Morris.
Tyler Morris. Great feed though from behind the goal scored by Morris, but Zach Brown driving from behind the goal, drew a slide and found somebody wide open on the backside.
Here we got the replay here.
Really
Zach.
good lacrosse.
Nice pass. Nice low left-handed shot there. I think that's the best pass I've seen in the game so far. Okay, got another loose ball situation here. Hugging the sideline here. Regained the possession there, but he kind of lost his own footing.
Yeah, definitely some spirited competition for the ground balls there.
Well, you've played on turf before and you've coached on turf. We've had some rain the last day and a half, so how much does that impact things?
It does. It looks a little slippery. I've seen a few kids slip already.
Now, do you change your footwear depending on this in lacrosse?
You know, most of these kids are just wearing straight cleats,
Okay.
whether it's dry or wet on the turf.
I know in soccer we had longer spikes on grass and shorter spikes on turf.
We got another flag down.
Yeah.
Same as before, but the ball's in the possession of C. Milton Wright, Hudson Welsh. So
That was a great job maintaining possession of that ball.
We do get a play on situation. They get a nice shot off.
Yeah,
but,
that was smart.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to get an extra possession out of it, because they know regardless of what happens there, the whistle will blow and we'll get extra man offense here.
It shows you how much you have to, a few inches in the angle of your shot means, because he hit that ball right at the goal circle, and that ball still hopped up and over the goal. So I guess you got to get that a little bit further out there in that shot.
Yeah, it's much easier today with the turf fields probably to judge your bounce shot. Like you said in the old day, you'd have to judge how dense the grass was,
right,
and how different it was. So we're back on extra man offense for C. Milton Wright. Big part of the game here. C. Milton Wright up to a 3-1 lead.
Yeah.
Bel Air needs to hold on here.
Yeah, Bel Air was
Good,
really
real good ball movement so far from C. Milton Wright.
So what you're trying to do here is either get a one-on-one situation or the man open in the middle for a pass, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Another flag comes up.
Yeah, I think we're going to have another slash on Bel Air, and they're going to be 2 men down, so this will make it very difficult to defend. You know, the goal of man down defense is to not give up a close shot.
Right.
And, you know, really from the offensive perspective, what you're trying to do is get them to slide so much that you do get a closer shot or a more wide open shot.
So now with your 2 men up.
Well, it looks like the first one must have expired. I see
mine's
5.
just expired.
Right, so the first one was 30 seconds. This one should be a full minute. So, again, big spot in the game here.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Bel Air had it feel good for a while there, but you don't want to get down 3 goals as quickly. Nice, nice. So let's see who that was.
Again, good extra man offense from C. Milton Wright. I believe it's Bryce Lawrence again, number 16. With second left-handed score in the last couple minutes.
Goal by number 16, Bryce Lawrence.
Well, I'm going to tell you here, I've seen more left-handed goals already than I thought I was going to see.
Right. Important to have a balanced field. So if you can have an extra man offense, if you can have 3 lefties and 3 righties, it really does give you much better opportunity. So great sign for the Mustangs to get a player back and come in and contribute like this already. Bel Air needs to possess the ball here.
Well, that was an important face-off there because, yes, to your point, they've been playing way too much defense in the last 5 minutes. I'd say Bel Air played pretty darn even in that first quarter, but I think C. Milton Wright has really controlled the second quarter. Got 2 players harassing Bel Air player here. Winding up.
That's a far out shot. I think it hit the back of the C. Milton Wright player, who was going off the field.
Yeah, I wonder why would he be going off in that situation there when you're on defense?
Yeah, he took a pretty good shot to the back. I mean, obviously it's a hard rubber ball, you know, thrown like we talked about at 80, 90 miles an hour can really hurt.
It's another nice stop by the C. Milton Wright goalie.
And good ball movement to get the ball off the field quickly. C. Milton Wright on the break.
I don't think that's the outcome they wanted there at the end, though.
Yeah, he had a man, had the skip pass open to the down low guy, but it didn't get through. Big ground ball.
A lot of players in the middle of the field here. Now we're going to see if we can get under control here. 25 with the ball for C. Milton Wright. Looks like that's that's Aiden Whitmore in the game.
Yeah, Aiden Whitmore, junior midfielder for C. Milton Wright, really is a ground ball machine. I know early on he's collected an awful lot of ground balls in the first 2 games, and you can see that C. Milton Wright's in control of this game, and right now it's because of those ground balls.
So you see here one of those subbing moments we were talking about before the game. Cody Maddox just held the ball up. Oh, then he has an open goal here.
And
wow, kind of called him falling asleep there.
Very much. Great move. Settled everything down. I think Bel Air, let their guard down for a second, and Cody's probably the quickest player on the field tonight. I got a chance to see him in a local gym. He played a big role for us last year, but put an awful lot of work in to get bigger and faster and stronger this year, and it's off to a real nice start.
Making sure our notes don't fly away here, Chris, as the wind's picking up a little bit up here in the booth. So we got another face-off moment here.
He's like, he's so cute, and he's like loves the friend from what I do.
So when you have your tryouts, how much time do you put into, and I know you have the kids coming out of club ball and other, but how much time do you put into trying out people for facing off? Or do you already kind of have an idea that coming out of club and travel that these kids are really good at it?
It is such a specialized part of the game today that you generally have kids that's all they do and all they want to do. But that being said, you can also, if you don't have that kid, it's a situation where you can find a good athlete. Like we talked about, somebody that's a wrestler, things like that, succeed in other sports. You know, we've converted to face-off men over the year, and can do a really nice job.
So it looks like we have a timeout by one of the teams. We have second period here, quarter here. We're 3:09 left in the quarter, and we already have a quick 5-1 lead for Milton Wright Mustangs. See the coaches pulling together. So when you have these timeouts, Chris, it's different in different sports. Basketball, they all go to one coach. Could be the head coach, or the head coach could designate somebody to speak. When you were coaching, did the attack come to you and the midfield went to somebody else?
We would generally have an offensive and a defensive huddle.
Right.
However, at certain points of the game, you know, we would bring them together as one huddle, and sometimes talk, I think, about things. I think at this point, Milton Wright's encouraging their players to just continue what they're doing. Bel Air certainly having an offensive and defensive huddle to talk about where the breakdowns were. And really use the timeout to encourage the team. This game was 1-1 for a long time. Milton Wright has grabbed control of it here, but my favorite part and what really sells me on the game of lacrosse is you're not out of a lacrosse game at 5-1.
It's a game of runs.
Right. A baseball game at 5-1, it's time. A lot of people start to hang their head, but this can turn around very quickly.
Yeah, I like game adjustments still.
Yes.
So when I was calling basketball games during the winter with Bob McCone or Joe Holhouse, I would always say, what do you do now? So I'm going to put the coaching hat on you, Chris. What does Bel Air need to adjust to right now?
Yeah, well, I think Bel Air just needs to play a little more team offense. As you see, a lot of dodging, and they've got some good dodgers. But, again, in that offense possession, the ball never moved out of one-person stick.
Well, and I really liked the last time Bel Air had the ball behind the goal. Number 32 on Milton Wright, that would be Ethan Fox, was really doing a good job not letting the man get around him. I mean, the guy kept faking left, faking right, trying to use the crease as a barrier to pin Ethan in, but Ethan's footwork was outstanding.
Yeah, again, Milton Wright's got a very experienced defense, a lot of good one-on-one defenders. So Bel Air's really going to have to move the ball and find some openings inside if they want to get back in this game.
Okay, that was a good job by number 5 there for Bel Air. Except I don't have a number 5 on my roster, so I'm trying to figure out who that would be.
Better job now getting some ball movement.
Oh, just missed. Do you have a number 5 on your list there?
I do not.
Chris, I don't know if there's just been a uniform change.
So Milton Wright runs the ball out. So after the offensive player takes a shot, it is the closest player to the ball retains possession. So great hustle by Milton Wright, and another lost possession for the Bobcats.
Well, that's a combination of two things. Sometimes anticipation and just speed and hustle.
Here we go. So we got a turnover on the clear.
Good
Nice job, Bel Air.
Yeah, I thought Milton Wright had all the passes covered there, but the player patiently found Jacob Lucas there. So they have Dylan behind the goal a lot. He's trying to get around. Okay.
Yeah, tried to make the feed inside, but good defense by Milton Wright.
Yeah, that was kind of an easy save for Zachary Curry. In the goal, the ball just bounced up to him. I think I just heard timeout blue yelled out, so it looks like Milton Wright called a timeout there.
Yeah.
So
1 minute left in the half. Probably a popular thing to do as a coach. You don't get to take your timeouts with you. Right. So my guess is Milton Wright will set up time and probably try and use the last minute. I know if I were there, you'd want to make sure that you're getting the last shot here. You already got a nice lead going at halftime. 6-1 would be even better, but really what you want to guard against here is not making a mistake and letting Bel Air get a goal and let them take the momentum into the half.
I 100% agree, Chris. One of my pet peeves in watching college basketball on TV is a team will have the last possession of a half or quarter, and there's no need. Now, you don't want to get down within 5 seconds and have nothing and have to throw something up, But when I see teams have the opportunity to, at worst, maintain their 5-point lead or whatever it is, but they shoot with 15 seconds left in the shot clock, and they miss, the other team goes down and makes a 3.
Right.
And you're like, why did you do that?
Right. If you're C. Milton right now, you're guaranteed to go in the locker room with a lot of momentum. The only thing that can go wrong is if you go too early or make a mistake here. And 5-2 is a much different story at halftime.
Oh, definitely. Now, are you looking for, from the coaching standpoint, are you looking for a clear out play? Are you looking for... Now, that they just did everything the opposite of what we just said.
Very much.
They threw a wide pass there, which cannot be considered a shot. So Bel Air gets the ball. So if I'm Bel Air, I'm doing the same thing we just talked about. I want to take about 40 seconds up and then try to get a shot off.
Big opportunity here for Bel Air to kind of, take that turnover and turn it into a positive for them.
And they turned it over too.
A little sloppy here in the last minute.
Yes. It's an open player there. Oh, he's open.
Good cut, a nice behind the back attempt, just wide of the goal.
So they've now got 26 seconds here to try to get a shot off. Now, what you tell your team also is, in a sport like lacrosse, you still take the shot if it's a good one. You don't have to use up the whole clock if you still get a good shot. Almost running out of time here. Looks like this has got to be the man. Might have time for one more pass.
Doing a nice job being patient, but looks like
that's going to be it.
Overthrow end the half.
So definitely a burst of goals there by C. Milton Wright, Chris. We have a 5-1 game here at the end of the first half. I'm really impressed by Bryce Lawrence coming off of an injury, to your point. They didn't start him. They eased him into the game. And he was obviously a key man on the right side there. Got 2 good left-handed shots off. Other than that, we have 3 other scorers for C. Milton Wright and 1 for Bel Air. But if they don't do something to contain Bryce, there's going to be a problem here.
Yeah, so again, really, really competitive first quarter, but C. Milton Wright definitely seized all of the momentum in the second quarter, and Bryce Lawrence coming back from injury and putting 2 in the back of the net is a big piece of that. So I know that the Mustangs will hit the locker room with a lot of momentum and really happy. They've had a tough week. They've had 2 games, lost both to really quality teams by 1 goal. So a win tonight means a lot to the Mustangs.
Yes, they're definitely hungry. So, folks, we are at the halftime here, and Hartford TV, we will be back from the 5-1 game very shortly. Stay tuned. Here we are in the second half for the Sports Showcase event of the week at Bel Air High School between C. Milton Wright and Bel Air. Just started the second half. We have a 5-1 lead for C. Milton Wright, Chris, and it really happened quickly.
Yeah, very tight game in the first quarter. The second quarter, really, C. Milton Wright took charge. So very important for Bel Air to get off to a good start in the second half here.
Wow, look at that burst of speed through there. So I am seeing a few more what I call turnovers from Bel Air on basic passes and catches. And in a game like this, they really add up.
Absolutely. It seems like C. Milton Wright has dominated the possession. They've done a real good job on the ground balls. But Bel Air's got some strong players. So from coaching against them last year, I coached here a couple years ago, and I remember a night where Dylan Fowdy put up 4 or 5 goals, and I know Devin Trezak has had nights where he's put up 4 or 5 goals. So they have the firepower.
That was a very good shot there, by the way. Number 11, that would be Hudson Welsh, just missed.
Yeah, Hudson, a senior for the C. Milton Wright team that's been a starter since his freshman year. So he not only here he is on the ground ball, like he dominates up and down the field. Yeah, once again, the ground ball.
Might have a foul here.
I think we got a foul. C. Milton Wright had won the ground ball, but it looks like it's going to go back over to the Bobcats. So
depth is really important in a team game like this, where it's a running sport. And I would think, Chris, you don't want to just have depth for, people not tiring out and so forth, but like, you don't want to be a one-man game in any sport where the other team can just game plan for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, lacrosse is it really is the ultimate team sport. I mean, you can have individuals that can take over, but one of my best phrases is, good lacrosse always wins. So that basically means play the team game.
So number 5 there really wound up, but what a great effort for number 15.
Great hustle and a dive there.
That was
to retain possession.
Dylan Sanders.
Yeah, Dylan Sanders, just a sophomore. Again, a freshman starter from the Mustangs last year.
Wow.
Really, maybe is definitely one of the best players in Harford County.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a player that has a big-time potential, beyond his days at C. Milton Wright.
So I wish we can get a correction on that number, but that was number 5 again for Bel Air, which we don't have a number 5 on our roster. He really had a good interception there of that full midfield pass. Every once in a while, folks, the roster that we receive does not match what we see in the field. It could be a simple pull-up of a player from JV, or it could just be a uniform change. We do have a foul here on the field, so we're waiting to see what's going to happen here. Do we have a man down for C. Milton Wright?
Yeah, we definitely have a flag on the field, so let's see, yes.
Looks like
maybe the first opportunity for Bel Air to go.
And it looks like the Bel Air coach is doing some smart coaching for the situation here.
All right, so this is a great opportunity for Bel Air to get right back in the game.
Yeah.
Good extra man units will convert, at about at least a 30 to 40% clip.
Mm-hmm.
So the key is to get some quality shots. C. Milton Wright is really strong defensively and doing a nice job on this man down as well.
Another missed pass here. Let's see if they can retain it. It's always interesting midfield line.
So we're going to have over and back.
Yeah.
The ball will go over to C. Milton Wright. See if they pick it up. As soon as they pick up the ball, we got a quick whistle here. Sometimes you can catch the other team off guard in transition, but it looks like Bel Air's back. And the penalty has expired, so we should be back to 6-on-6.
Seems like the ball's in number 25 for C. Milton Wright's hands a good amount here. Aiden Whitmore. Now, will they call that a shot?
It's going to be a shot, and back to C. Milton Wright as they're the closest to the ball.
Looks like the Bel Air player got a stick on his stick as he was shooting. Change the direction of that. Got number 11, Hudson Welsh, bringing the ball in, passing it up top here.
Cody Maddox driving behind the cage. You can see the quickness that he possesses, and he's got his head up. He's looking for a teammate there.
He might have it. He had the move. He just missed it wide.
Nice move, and again, good team offense. Like he's dodging from behind the goal, but his head is up, and he's looking for a cutting teammate. He's looking for somebody with an open shot.
So we got Tyler Morris out there with the ball. He was defended there by number 6 for Bel Air, Eli Hodgson. The Bel Air goalie bringing the ball out himself here. Devin Treziak. I mean, how much do you think the goalkeeping stick skills have improved in the years?
Again, dramatically. I mean, the technology that they have and the level of athlete that's playing goalie today, is a little different than it was years ago. Goalie sometimes was an opportunity for somebody that, didn't have a strong field presence to give a try, but nowadays you're getting, top shelf athletes playing the position.
Aaron Clark just received and brought the ball up a little bit there and got it to his teammate there, number 10, Cody Maddox. Aaron Clark is a multiple sport athlete. I've seen him on the soccer field and the basketball court. Looks like our keeper got a little bit of deflection on that. It's a tough angle to shoot from, though. He was trying to shoot for the far low corner, which wasn't very open anyhow.
Right. What I like the fact about it is, I mean, C. Milton Wright, you generally see them making multiple passes before they're taking a shot. And again, team offense usually is going to be the answer.
Well, he looks like he might have a shot here, Chris.
It's a big save. Great move by Hudson to get his hands free and get a shot. And again, Bel Air keeper doing a nice job, keeping this within reach.
He's doing really good on the low shots. So does it make you start to think as a coach you might need to put some bullets into the upper corners here?
Absolutely, and the shooters themselves should be kind of tracking that.
Yes.
And one of the best strategies as a shooter is not to be pigeonholed. Let the goalie guess. Like if you're going to get offensive players in the sport of lacrosse are going to get multiple shots in a game. So if they're taking the same shot every time, the goalies will get a read on that.
Got a big crowd there. This means somebody should be open.
Yeah, nice job clearing the ball. Again, C. Milton Wright really passing the ball well.
If you get a cutter here, oh, that was almost a good give and go. Just missed the pass. It's almost like an intentional hit there. The Bel Air player turned around the stop to try to get out of that sandwich he was in, and then he just took the hit and lost the ball. So we have number 8 here, Aaron Clark again. I know Aaron can run.
Yeah, the Mustangs definitely have some speed on the field.
You don't see too many of those 3-sport athletes anymore, Chris, and it's really refreshing to see a couple of them once in a while. Today's sports, especially in an area like ours, there's a lot of specialization.
Very much.
There's a flag. There's a foul on number 27. Number 27 drew the foul.
Yeah, I think one of the things that players don't realize is that, a lot of kids on the field today, their ultimate goal is probably to play college lacrosse. And when you talk to college coaches, they're interested in multi-sport athletes. Bel Air's got a great example in Bel Air is Brady Ashman. Kyle Ashman. He is the starting quarterback at C. Milton Wright, and an all-county performer. He was a leading rebounder on the basketball team, and also a great lacrosse player.
Yeah, I know the dad Larry well, and you do too, and very athletic family. And not that these kids need this, but back in my day, my parents would have said, "Keep you out of trouble." Be in a sport every season.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the tendency today is for kids to try and specialize in one sport. And,
right.
I don't think it's scientifically proven, but a lot of people think that leads to certain injuries and overuse injuries. So, I highly encourage young kids to get involved in multiple sports.
I don't even know where the ball is there, Chris. That was a great job of hassle defense there by Dylan Fowdy. He just would not give up on that. Very relentless. Now he's bringing the ball in. Good job on defense there.
Yeah, again, Brandon Stepp, a multiple-year starter for the Mustangs. I'm really impressed with the defense. Here comes Ethan Fox there. Double teaming.
Ethan's another good athlete.
Yeah, and in comes Hayden Gonzinski again, another 3-year starter to to stop that move by Devin Treziak.
So people don't realize, compared to football and some other sports, these athletes are not wearing nearly as much padding as you think they are, and those slashes on the wrist and the forearm do not feel good.
Yeah, they can definitely leave a bruise. C. Milton Wright being very aggressive on the defense and really disrupting the flow of the Bobcat offense.
Hudson Welsh really stringing him out there for a long time. Got number 11 and number 11 here.
Got him close to the end line there.
Now that could be a shot coming here. Fans getting a little excited about some hits here.
Just dominant defense at this point from the Mustangs.
Got a loose ball scrum here happening.
Great effort on the ground ball.
Yeah. All that time.
Aiden Whitmore with another ground ball. I mean, again, has multiple tonight.
He's just like slippery fast there. Like, all of a sudden he squirts out of that scrum with the ball, which kind of annoys the other team.
Very much. Ground ball's a lot of effort. I mean.
Yes. Well, there's speed and there's spurt speed. Those players like that you get out of that quick crowd that quickly. Like he was just out of there for 10 yards run. And I would imagine in lacrosse, that's very beneficial. So to your point again here, we have a good job from C. Milton Wright with making a lot of passes, moving the ball around.
Yeah, they're really doing a good job just controlling the tempo of the game.
Yeah, the old saying, the ball is faster than anybody on the field, definitely applies. I don't know if you ever did that thing as a coach, Chris, where you line your players up. You say, okay, well, nice steal. You say, who's going to outrun this pass?
Right. Great job by Owen Conway.
Wow.
Cats just stepping in.
That was very instinctive.
Yeah. Bel Air needed some possessions. Again, I think they clearly have the talent, and they've got players that can put it in the back of the net. But so far, the Bel Air defense is really the story of the game.
So here's the thing here. I mean, we haven't had a goal since the second quarter.
Correct.
So even though Bel Air's not scoring, they're keeping themselves in the game. I think I said this to my basketball cohorts, the last couple minutes of the third period and the first couple minutes of the fourth period are crucial. Because right now, Bel Air gets even one back or two back. Here we have on a replay here coming up, folks. I think we might show this instinctive steal here.
Yeah, good move by Justin Ekman, but a great step in front by Owen Conway.
Yes.
And again, there you see the defenseman of today not only can intercept that ball, but he's right up the field, gets it over midfield, and secures a much-needed possession for the Bobcats.
So we have a good shot here of our coaches talking to our teams here. Put on both hats as quickly as you can, Chris. C. Milton Wright, 5-1 lead. Basically have 14 and a half minutes to go in this game. What are you telling your team?
Just to continue to play smart. Like, they're in control of the game and they know it. So really, they just have to avoid mistakes. If they avoid mistakes for the rest of the game, they're going to get out of here with a big win, and again, a much-needed win after two really tough losses earlier in the week. But I got the opportunity to go out to a game on Tuesday night over at John Carroll's, who John Carroll and Falston played, and Falston was up 2 goals. With 60 seconds left in the game. John Carroll won the game.
Wow.
Right? So that's what Bel Air needs, is just a little bit of momentum. It was almost like when John Carroll scored the goal to get within 1, even though there were only 30 seconds left, you knew they had a chance just because the momentum that was building.
So to your point, even though C. Milton Wright hasn't scored for 10 minutes here, their defense has still been stellar. So it's an important time here. And they have another stop here.
Again, just great defense again. An easy save for Zach Curry at that point.
So to me, you're an offensive player. I feel like the C. Milton Wright defense is so solid that even a play like that where the Bel Air player looked like they beat the defender slightly, it was only slightly. So the player wasn't able to wind up and take the same quality shot as they would have liked to.
Yeah, you really haven't seen the Bel Air offense be able to get their hands free at all tonight.
Right.
And that's just, again, really good defense by the Mustangs.
So that was a kind of a tricky thing there that Aaron just did. He knew he couldn't scoop the ball up before it went out of bounds, so he flicked it back inbounds, then re-scooped it to make sure he had it. He knew that he had the space between him and his opponent to do that. The little nuances of the sport. So I feel like Bel Air's, and you see it here, it's going to have to get a little bit more physical. Wow.
And the play's going to draw a flag.
So that was a possession situation. They did not call the foul on Bel Air until the Bel Air player picked it up.
Right, I like the aggressiveness, like you said. I mean, we're at a point in the game where Bel Air's going to have to push the tempo a little bit to get some opportunities.
He just went a little bit too far there at the end.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Well, when you play a good team, and especially if you have 10 one-on-ones on this field right now, so you have to change what you're doing to the player that's outplaying you.
Right.
If even though lacrosse players can shoot and throw with their left and right hand, If they're more uncomfortable doing it with their non-dominant hand, then force them that way. If their move is to their right, force them to their left. You've got to put them out of their comfort zone.
See Milton Wright back on the extra man offense where they've been highly successful tonight.
Yes.
So again, a big spot in the game for the Bobcats defense.
So do you send what we would call a dummy runner sometime to set somebody else up? So as the attack man's receiving
Great
the ball.
look inside. Blocked down by the defense.
Do you deliberately send some people through that are kind of like decoys, and then the next guy comes through?
Absolutely, because what you're trying to do is get the defensive player to vacate the zone that he was in and kind of go with that.
Right.
And really, when you're already up a guy, you only need to get them out of their zone a little bit, and you're going to wind up with an open shot.
So like other sports, if you're lucky enough for one person to draw two people, then somebody else is wide open.
Great play. We got a quick whistle. Bryce Lawrence picks up the ball off the start and does the rest by himself. Great high shot.
So Bryce is up to having a hat trick here right now.
Yeah, I was told he was cleared for injury and only able to play a few minutes tonight in his comeback. So he's definitely taking advantage of the time. He's had a great game.
It's the rivalry game. So here we go again. Picks it up. Nice left-handed shot again.
Great shot, right? The goalie's a righty, so anytime that ball goes over their left shoulder, there's nothing the goalie can do. That's a spot that they can't get to.
It's the first high shot we've seen in a while. I'd like to see more of them if I'm seeing Milton Wright.
Unfortunate, a face-off win for the Bobcats, but then a quick turnover.
Yep.
I think another thing the experienced Mustang defense has done well tonight is cleared the ball. When they've gotten the ball turned over, they've been able to get it down and get an offensive possession.
They seem to have a little bit more patience on both ends of the field. And that's one thing that happens to a team when you get down by now. Now they're down by 5 goals. So there's only 8 seconds left here, so can something happen that quickly? You almost have to fire it up now.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh, he got in there. They got a shot off with a second to go. Just missed, but still quality. So an unusual period there, Chris. It was a 1-0 period.
Yeah, really close. Again, we've got a first quarter and a third quarter that are really close.
Yes.
See Milton Wright dominated that second quarter, and right now that's kind of ruling the day.
So what do you do here? I asked you what you did if you're C. Milton Wright. You said keep doing what you're doing. And, of course, one of them is good defense and patience on the defensive end and the offensive end. But now you're in the shoes of Bel Air. You're down 5 goals with 12 minutes to go. You've got to average a goal every 2 minutes and 10 seconds or so and not giving any up. What do you change here if you're Bel Air?
Yeah, well, I mean, offensively, they're going to have to be, they're going to have to rush a little more. They really don't have the time to be patient. But they really just need to concentrate on. They've been close on a lot. They need to get some more high-quality shots. As much as they want to rush, I think it's important for them to get some ball movement and get that C. Milton Wright defense moving.
But you're the expert. But I will say this compared to what we just said a couple minutes ago. Rush, but after you were patient.
Absolutely.
Like, get into the offense first.
I think we've seen that. The C. Milton Wright defense is, they're going to win most of their one-on-one matchups.
Right.
So the opportunities, again, will be to play team lacrosse. What generally happens at this point in the game, unfortunately, is the tendency to rush.
Yeah.
Where sometimes hurts you because you're not.
They're rushing, trying to get into the situation, and they're turning the ball over. If they would give themselves another 10 seconds, 15 seconds of patience to get into their offense, then they have their chances. That's the difference we see in between C. Milton Wright and Bel Air. C. Milton Wright will patiently get into their offense, then set it up.
Very much.
Now,
a good face-off win for the Bobcats. They've won the last couple. Big save by Curry.
So who's going to out-hustle here? C. Milton Wright. Now, I'm picking up the little idiosyncrasies of the game. Very often when C. Milton Wright shoots, they have a man to beat people to the end line. But I've seen more than I thought would happen when Bel Air shoots. The C. Milton Wright is also over to beat them to the end line.
Right. Again, it's just experienced defenders on the C. Milton Wright side. But in that case, that was a good face-off win by Bel Air, and he took advantage of the opportunity. So they weren't really set in their offense, and somebody wasn't already behind the cage.
So I'm seeing, I don't know if somebody got hurt on Bel Air, but I'm seeing a lot more playing time for some players than I saw before. So we got
another big ground ball.
Jacob Lucas for Bel Air is getting some playing time.
We're going to have a loose ball push on the Bobcats, and C. Milton Wright will get the ball back.
So how soon with a 5-goal lead do you generally start stalling a little bit more if you're C. Milton Wright?
Yeah, I don't think we're at that point yet. I mean, they still want to play. They still want to play patient.
But a coach is going to be mad if you take a shot right away when it's not a quality shot.
This is a tough part of the game for the coaches because the players, start to think they have the game in hand and, are a little more anxious to maybe see their name in the scorebook. But it's important to still play disciplined offense and lacrosse. C. Milton Wright's done a really good job with being patient with the ball tonight.
Another good defensive. Oh, they might call a foul there. Well, so one thing I noticed there is in that last shot for C. Milton Wright, I think they might have actually hit the post, and it might have bounced all the way out to the side there.
It's amazing how little the post is and how often it gets hit in a lacrosse game. It really is.
Did you get mad at some posts for a while there, Chris?
Very much. My sons, they love the sound of the lacrosse ball hitting the post.
Right.
And they would, a lot of times they look at it and say, wow, did you see that shot? I hit the post. And I go, yeah, you're only an inch off from it being a good shot.
You said hit the inside quarter of the post and it might go in.
So Bel Air is on the man up. Big spot. Really need a goal to get some momentum. They're doing a really nice job moving the ball on extra man.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Tried to hit a cut through the middle, but we've got C. Milton Wright, turnover. Dylan Sanders on the break.
A fake pass there. Lost it on the fake pass. Needs to kind of get away from that crowd there. Now, is that a
timeout call by Coach LeBron?
I was just getting ready to say that's smart. That's the second time I've seen him do this game when there was a important time. And with 9:44 to go in the fourth quarter here, you feel like those moments are important. Like you see coaches that put timeouts in their back pocket and they regret it later on. You don't want to burn them earlier than you need to, but his player, who just did a good job bringing the ball upfield, literally had 2 or 3 defenders on him, and he just kept backing them in, and they deflected it away twice. He's probably going to bring him out to the sideline and say, hey, dude, the play's not there.
Right.
Run it out top.
Right.
Work it around the perimeter.
I would always want to save that one timeout for the end of the game in case it's close. But you get 4 games, so if you can save 3 possessions during the course of a game, it can make a big difference. So good call for Coach LeBron. I know he's a little nervous. It's his first year at the helm. We got a chance to see Coach Gerard at halftime.
Yes, we did.
This is the first time that C. Milton Wright has had a coach not named Andy Gerard in 26 years, 27 years.
Yeah, Andy put in a lot of time in the program. He also was the AD for a while.
Yes.
So that was, you got to appreciate people like that to put in that many years. I coached 2 or 3 sports, and it's a commitment, and you've done it. I mean, it's a lot of time away from your family, and so what do we got here? We got
C. Milton Wright still a man down, about to get released to go even. Oh, what a save.
Yeah, he anticipated
that. That would have been a backbreaker for a man-down goal. But, again, another great save.
I guess they're very uncommon.
Owen Conway again on the clear for Bel Air.
Oh, he's open.
Great look. Great look.
Yes.
That
looks like number 16 on the goal there.
The play.
Well, you know what? That's one of those times. I think that's Grant Smith that scored that. And that's one of those plays where Yeah, I think that's one of those plays where the pass was the goal.
Absolutely. So here's a great clear and a big part. That's just a perfect look inside. That's the play that Bel Air needed right now. Still 9 minutes to go in the game. The game's far from decided. Like we said, this is a game of runs. So if Bel Air can get another one on the board real quick.
And who was that on the assist there again, Chris?
Owen Conway.
Yeah, that was very important.
And almost just a great fast break, face-off win for the Bobcats, and a great shot from the point. A nice slide by C. Milton Wright. Ball deflected off the goalie and out of bounds. But we got a little momentum here for the Bobcats, so I'm excited to see if they can get really back in this game here.
Yeah, these next couple minutes are very important. Now, when I say that pass was really incredible, the goal was very, very nice by Grant Smith also. I mean, he calmly, with that time, made his fake and put it in the goal.
Yeah, sure. There's an art to finishing. Even when you're one-on-one on the goalie, it's a lot of excitement and energy on the Bel Air sidelines. I think they see that this is the opportunity they need to take advantage of right now.
Well, we got the rain coming down pretty steady now, Chris. The rain that the weatherman said wasn't going to happen after 5 o'clock.
It's definitely coming.
The one job you can be wrong 50% of the time.
Aiden Whitmore again on the run out. He's been all over the field today for the Mustangs.
Now, I would think the Mustangs would want to use a little bit of clock here and be patient.
Yeah, I love the fact that they bring it down on, a slow break, but they looked nothing available, and they're patient with the ball.
Got Cody Maddox with the ball right now, passing it off to Aaron Clark. And I was saying, I think Aaron's gotten a lot more playing time in this game for not being one of the starting midfielders. They really have a lot of trust in him.
Yeah, he's, again, nice job tonight. I mean, Simon Wright's got quite a few athletes that they're able to put out there in the midfield. Hudson Welsh on the drive right now. Again, not only a good athlete, but a big body and able to take it to the goal.
Well, that was great defense.
Good play by the Bobcats.
But see, they do this as soon as they get a good play. They're really, they still have it, but that just shows you the harassment that C. Milton Wright does. What a good grab there.
A little sloppy on the clear. And a lot of these loose balls have went the Mustangs' way tonight. Oh, great lacrosse. A great feed. Great feed by Hudson Welsh again.
Did you see that catch, though, from Gavin Morris behind midfield? He did a backhanded running across. There he is with the ball now. He got hit pretty good there, but nothing called. You know more about this than I do and how much they'll tolerate, Chris.
Yeah, that's some spirited play on the ground ball. Really good effort there. That was one of the bigger hits we've had in the game.
Oops, another
flag is down. Let's see, what do we have? I think we're going to have an offsides.
Well, we're down to 6:27 here in the fourth quarter, Chris, with C. Milton Wright winning 6-2.
Yeah, and that's going to hurt. So that's going to be offside on the Bobcats, who will put the Mustangs man up again, where they've been successful tonight.
Yeah.
And again, with 6.5 minutes in the game, look to run a little clock and get a quality shot here.
So we're going to have Justin Ekman. Looks like he has the ball to start up top here.
Again, just another young player that's played varsity multiple years for C. Milton Wright. So they really do have an experienced lineup.
Well, like you said before about subbing, when these two play some less, quality teams, you can get those players. Well, that was a good shot.
There's Justin Ekman, I believe, on the goal. Again, another man-up goal for the Mustangs. That's at least their third of the night. So, in a 7-2 game, 3 goals on man-up really have been the difference. So we've talked a lot about the Mustang defense, but really the Bobcat defense, especially in the second half, other than the second quarter, has just strung together minute after minute without a goal.
Here we go with Justin's shot. Is it Justin? Or it comes all the way back around to him.
Right.
Nice wind up.
Right. Again, nice skip pass by Bryce Lawrence on the wing, and a real nice shot by Justin Ekman.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Holding C. Milton Wright to 7 goals is quality. Holding Bel Air to 2 is outstanding.
Yes. Yes, we've really seen some good defense tonight.
Well, that bodes well for later in the season because, you know, when I used to coach a lot of sports in U2, a good defense can keep you in game against good teams. And I know you stress the same thing. And even though you're a attackman, I was an offensive player in soccer, and every team I ever coached, my co-coach or my assistant coaches were like, "You're putting more emphasis on our defense." And I said, because our defense can keep us in any game.
Right, and they're doing it tonight. I mean, honestly, the C. Milton Wright defense has been outstanding tonight. They've given up 2 goals over the course of a high school varsity lacrosse game. Very rare.
Right.
Very rare.
So you're talking about C. Milton Wright having a starting goalie in Zachary Curry that's only a sophomore. Their two of their defenders are Hayden Godzinski and Brandon Stepp are juniors.
Right, and 3-year starters. I mean, I think that's key. Like, they really do look under control and experienced. And then Ethan Fox, I think the lone senior in the lineup who has been on the varsity for a couple years, really getting his chance to start and shine this year, and also just fitting in perfectly with the group.
And then you've got basically a sophomore starting in your midfield in Dylan Sanders.
Yeah, I think Dylan Sanders is, again, potentially one of the best players in the county.
Yeah.
He's plays high-level club lacrosse. I mean, he really can handle the stick. He's going about 6'4", 6'5", so he is a matchup nightmare with a long pole for any midfielder.
And then you add Tyler Morris. They've got 3 sophomores in their starting lineup.
Yeah, the future looks bright.
Yeah.
Future looks bright. There's another. Great shot by Devin Trezak, dodging down the alley. It's at least probably his second or third of the night. Strong shot, nice high shot, beating a good goalie.
Yeah, that's his second, and the other goal is Grant Smith.
Yep, nice dodge. Gets his hands free.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a nice play. Nice play again. Need to capitalize on the momentum here.
People that have never played goalie in a sport don't realize how difficult that is, because the goalie has to hold his stick mid-level to be able to go high or low on what he does, or they just have to guess.
And here's Dylan Sanders, great ground ball. And again, you can see just that stick handling ability for a 6'4" sophomore is really impressive.
Now, I think the difference you see at the good high school level compared to good college level is more shooters will do a fake, and then here, almost always their first move is their shot.
Sure.
Okay, good job on the Bel Air defense. Now they got to clear it. That's a long pass to complete.
Yeah, and I think Bel Air will look back at the game and clearing. They've had some opportunities in the clearing game that they haven't been successful.
Whoa!
I mean, that's a lost possession.
Now,
but a spirited ride again. A nice hustle by the Bobcats. They're not ready to give up.
They're C. Milton Wright's hustling, but they're having a hard time getting this loose ball under control. Another very long pass. Now that's a little bit of panic there to me. They were having a hard time getting the scoop and the ground ball and multiple drops. But once they finally got it, I think they should have probably taken a little more patience.
Yeah, likely I wasn't following the clock, but they were probably up against the clearing clock. They do only have 20 seconds to get it over the line once they have possession.
Nice spin move there. Is that Aaron Clark again? He's athletic. Shows you the human nature of sports. Aaron does an outstanding spin move, does another one there, but then he lost the ball just running with it. And you have to laugh at yourself as an athlete. You're like, I'm sure you've wound up for a few shots, and then you've shot, and the ball wasn't, where's the ball? Oh, it's behind me on the ground.
Right, so we got another flag down.
Very inopportune time for Bel Air as well.
Yeah, they're running out. We're down to 4 minutes and 12 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, down by 4, and a man down. Not a good situation. But I can see these two teams meeting each other in the playoffs.
Sure. Even though it's 7-3 at this point, I mean, again, 3 of C. Milton Wright goals are extra man. So without the penalties and without really good execution on that, I mean, this is a close ball game.
Now, is Brady Zabano, as far as you know, supposed to come back this year?
I believe the Mustangs are hopeful. I know he had meniscus surgery earlier in the week, and he could be back late in the season, but he's got multiple weeks of recovery.
Is he an impact player for this team?
Absolutely. He was our face-off guy last year. Matt Peters has stepped in, again, a senior. It's nice to have that depth at a big school, and you get somebody that's played the sport and can step in and do it. But it's heartbreaking to have a senior miss their senior year. So I think I'd like to hope that Brody gets back by the end of the season.
Yeah, you just hate to see that. It's really heartbreaking. I mean, most of us have dealt with injuries, and it's very frustrating. I had to play my junior and senior years of soccer with pretty tough injuries that did not allow me to go 100%. You don't wish an injury on anybody, but you definitely don't want to see a senior.
Right. When I was the coach, my son tore his ACL the first game of his senior year. So, been there. It's heartbreaking, but it is part of the sport.
So, Milton Wright was a little bit more rushed there than I thought they would be on that offense.
Yeah, had plenty of time. Another great interception, I believe, by Owen Conway. He's kind of really done a nice job at that tonight.
I feel like that's kind of like showing your age a little bit when you're impatient. Now, this could be slightly high, but it went to another player. That was a good shot. Good hustle.
Okay, so Belair did have a backup that time.
Yeah. Wasn't quite in our screen, but I just caught a part of glimpse of them.
But they're going to have to rush here. We got 3.5 left. They really need a goal quick.
And they pretty much have to win out on face-offs here, I would think. Is this like a clear out here?
Yeah, Trezak again. He's going to go strong to the goal. Some good defense being played. Hayden Kaczynski.
It's a good cutback move there. Can he get all the way to goal, or can he get a cutter? Seems like pretty soon you're going to have to put a shot up. Going to call a foul here on the man in the middle there, getting hit, I would think, and I hope he's not hurt too bad, Chris.
Yeah, so Devin Trezak down on the crease. I didn't see the play exactly what led to it, but certainly coaches coming onto the field to check it out at the moment. I do now see a flag on the field, which I didn't see originally.
I didn't see the flag in the screen, but I thought I had heard the official blow their whistle. I didn't know if it was for a foul or, hey, we got a player down, stop the game here. Now, in lacrosse, is the rule similar to some other sports where if the coach comes on the field, the player has to go off in sub? Okay. Folks, I'm learning a ton of good information here from our color commentator, Chris Dale.
So good to see Devin's up and running to the sideline. So Belair will need him in the last 3 minutes if they want to make a run here.
How many hundreds of games have you played, Chris?
A lot, and many right here. My wife often tells the story. I had the opportunity. I've played on Team USA. I played in a World Championship. I played in a couple of Division I Final Fours at Maryland, and a lot of that kind of runs together. But I have very fond memories, and I can tell you specific plays from my time at Belair. Playing on the high school team is really special.
Oh, it's definitely a great experience. I mean, I still keep up with some of my high school teammates to this day.
Absolutely.
And you probably have this joy too with coaching my athletes. I just did a speech at a sports banquet recently, and I told the swimmers, keep up with your coaches, keep up with each other.
Right. You really do. When you coach, you kind of you make some lifelong bonds and friendships, both as a player and a coach.
With the parents as well. Okay, I think we need to get a shot off here.
There's a nice shot, but a quality save by Zach Curry.
Yeah, where the clock, as they say, is not Belair's friend right now. See Milton Wright and Belair putting some subs in here, getting some fresh players. We're down to 2:29 with a 4-goal lead.
Aiden Whitmore with the ball on the clear. Milton Wright's done a nice job clearing the ball as well tonight. using the pass there.
2 spin moves in a row there for number 31, Brandon Stepp.
Again, the C. Milton Wright poles have handled the ball very well tonight. That makes a big difference in the clearing game. Right, really gonna have to hurry here.
Couple good moves there.
And a great shot.
Eli Hodgson, wow. I mean, I was impressed by the couple moves there, and I thought he was going to lose control of the ball, and he just fired the shot.
Yeah, the Bobcats have gotten some good, defense to offense plays. It's the second time we've had one of their long poles involved in the goal.
Well, you just gave me an example a few minutes ago of a team scoring goal in 1 minute, and I was talking to a young man, Gregory Commandor, friend of the family, and I was talking to another friend of mine who's a Virginia alum, and Maryland and Virginia were playing last weekend.
Unbelievable.
And Maryland was winning by 2 with a minute to go, and they gave up 2 goals. But then they still won in overtime.
They did.
But if somebody can score 2 goals in 1 minute, can Bel Air score 3 goals in 150?
They can. I know when you're on the field, it feels hard to do, but I've seen it done so many times. Again, just saw it Tuesday night over at John Carroll.
I thought they were going to have that face-off.
So that is likely going to be a legal procedure. But
yeah, you're not allowed to drop and pick up your stick. Okay.
So it's going to turn it over. So the Bobcats got some momentum. They really need to get a quick one here.
Yeah, that was important.
Again, the Mustang defense coming up big.
Yes. I would have liked to see an ounce more patience on Bel Air in that moment there. I mean, yes, you have to score, but 2 or 3 passes is okay to set up a shot.
Right, and that was Kyle Ashman, another strong long pole for the Mustangs, the multiple sport athlete we talked about before. C. Milton Wright's depth really showing tonight.
So was that another offsides moment there, or clock violation for clearing?
I didn't see. Let's see.
Because they just gave possession to Bel Air, but I don't see a flag. So
the Bobcats in the hurry up. And we've got a flag down.
Yeah. So they were just waiting until C. Milton Wright got possession. So you know what I don't see in men's lacrosse, and educate me, Chris, in girls lacrosse you see free run chances at the goal. I'm assuming there's no fouls like that in men's lacrosse that you get a free one-on-one.
No, right? It's always a man advantage.
Okay.
Which is big.
No such thing as a penalty shot, anything like that, like soccer. So that really allows the other team, especially if they think their man-down defense is good, which C. Milton Wright's has been, to foul before you give up a quality shot.
Yeah, it does happen. I mean, definitely make those decisions. Again, good teams are going to score extra man. At a 35-40% clip. Anything higher than that is really good.
That's a good pass and catch. Hit the post.
Yeah, Bel Air executed. Got a good shot again by Trezak. I think he's going to draw a penalty.
Oh, referee's emphatically throwing that flag.
Not what they need at this point in the game.
Game of inches. He hits the post there. If that ball goes in, we've got a 2-goal game.
We do. And so here we are with 45 seconds left. And again, C. Milton Wright has 3 extra man goals, and we're at 7-4. So at the end of the day, it looks like that's what's going to.
It's kind of like an ice hockey game where the power plays and the man-down defense dictated the game.
Yeah.
C. Milton Wright definitely was opportunistic in their man up, and they did a good job of man down.
And that's good to see early in the season. Like sometimes it takes a while for those units to come together because you just haven't gotten as many opportunities. But the Mustangs should be able to run out the clock here. It looks like it's going to be a minute penalty, less than a minute left in the game. So. Pretty desperate situation for the Bobcats.
So not sure what's going on here. The officials are explaining something to the coaches.
Yeah, I think they're doing good game management. We got a little chippy in that last minute there, so I think they're probably taking their time to get it restarted. They want to see the last 45 seconds played clean.
So do you put your fastest midfielders out there right now and just
Yeah,
basically say kill clock, or you try, oh, he's going to score.
He's
So we got a goal here by
great
number
finish to the
1,
game. I believe,
Hayden Kaczynski.
so I think it's 11, Hudson Welsh.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the other one there.
Yeah, again, they
Second goal.
Made it look like they were just running the clock out.
Yeah,
He saw the opening.
that was very savvy.
Really strong move and a great finish.
It looks like he has a little height to him there, and he took a nice little jump there to get it over the goalie.
Hudson's a good size athlete. I believe he's going to go on to play college lacrosse next year at Ohio Northern. Again, a 4-year starter for C. Milton Wright, and that's it's hard to do in any sport. It's really hard to do in lacrosse because you've got to be physically capable as a freshman. So he's just had a great career.
Well, I know you and Andy were the kind of coaches that were not going to put a player on the varsity as a freshman unless they can learn and contribute. And there's a difference between doing that and some people putting players on the team and just sitting them all the time.
Right.
If they can gain valuable experience, the varsity game is definitely much faster than the JV game.
Yeah, and that, obviously, the size and speed differences really come into play. So you got to be careful when a player's younger. You don't want to put them in a situation where they could get injured. There you have it.
So,
much needed win for the Mustangs.
Yes, very much so. So basically what we have here, Chris, is an 8-4 victory for the C. Milton Wright Mustangs. And on C. Milton Wright, you were led by Bryce Lawrence with 3 goals and Hudson Walsh with 2. Single goals by Cody Maddox and Tyler Morris, and another goal by Justin Ekman. For Bel Air, they were led with 2 goals by Devin Treziak and 1 goal each from Eli Hodson and Grant Smith. C. Milton Wright moves to 1 and 2, and Bel Air moves to 1 and 1. What are your thoughts about the game?
So a good early season matchup for both. I mean, I think both show potential. It's going to be very competitive in the county this year. Falston's the returning league champion. Obviously both these teams will get a shot in the next 2 weeks to play Falston. I think C. Milton Wright, took a big step forward tonight. I know that they were down after losing 2 really close games to quality opponents earlier in the week, but one thing we didn't talk about, they played 3 games this week. So to come out and hustle and play 4 full quarters the way they did, with it being the 3rd game of the week, really shows that they've got a chance to get back on top in the league this year. But that being said, honestly, if you take out the 3 extra man goals, Bel Air's right there. I think they showed this game was closer than the C. Milton Wright Bel Air matchups have been in the last couple years, and I think Bel Air also looks like a squad that can secure a lot of victories inside the county. I think it'll be highly competitive inside the county this year. North Hartford also has a senior-laden, really good squad. Patterson Mills got a good squad, so I think we'll see a lot of competitive games inside the county this year. And 8-4 in the first game for these 2 teams is a good sign.
Well, again, folks, 8-4 final here for the C. Milton Wright Mustangs over the Bel Air Bobcats. Chris, it was great having you on with us. You did a great job, and we will be having you with us again later this season.
Looking forward to it.
We hope you have enjoyed this sports showcase event on Hartford TV. Once again, final score, C. Milton Wright 8, Bel Air 4. For my partner, Chris Dale, and myself, stay tuned for our next telecast.